I think we just really needed to make a record, you know? It wasn't like, we didn't have like an epiphany like that. It was more like a thing that was starting to weigh on us after a while. You know, like we really got to get this started. So we went to Charlie's house and just started, you know, took a couple of weeks and just jammed at Charlie's every day, no matter what the idea was. We just throw it out there. People keep playing, like keep coming up with stuff. No ideas were shut down. We recorded everything just to have it there. And that's kind of what we brought to Chicago, you know. We didn't have we're a pretty disorganized bunch, really.
John McEntire was someone who, a few of us in the band were really big, you know, Tortoise fans or Seeing Cake or the thrill jockey sound. But I think just this idea kept getting tossed around, like, to work with John McEntire, and I think it was somewhat luring because of being able to go to Chicago and transplant ourselves to be in a different city and try and soak up the local culture. We have a pretty good fan base there, so we'd meet, you know, you'd end up going to bars where the indie rockers go or whatever, so you see fans or friends, so it just became, you know, it became like a second home. I mean, maybe something like All to All. I think that's a good John McEntire thumbprint, or Sweetest Kill.
Sure. I mean, his sonic palette, what he made happen, like, compared to our other two records, there's a lot of, like, it's like Jackson Pollock, like, everything's like action painting. It's like a wild, crazy thing going on. And McEntire, like, the sounds are really clear. He's really into all the textures. And if you make a mistake that he really likes, he'll keep that mistake, but he makes it so every instrument, every sound, like, has its place in the mix. I think it's a really defined sound he has.
I think, well, keeping the happy accidents, as it were, I mean, that's sort of kind of part of the charm of this band, so he really went with that, too. You know, that was just a song, it just kind of came out in the rehearsal space. It came together pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
We're, like, you know, straight with, like, what do we need here? Oh, we need a country breakdown here. And lyrically, it all got...
It's your finest moment, I think,
but the bulk of it got spat out just you know.
We played that song live a fair amount, and it never quite found its legs, I thought, and then I was so surprised when we went and tracked it with Johnny. That's a good example of give and go, the old soccer give and go. First we played it live, it was okay.
Yeah.
Play it in the studio with Johnny. Now we're starting to play it live. Now it sounds like how it should sound.
Yeah. The guys who did Half Nelson, there's a film called It's Kind of a Funny Story. So there's songs, like one in particular that was from the McEntire sessions in that movie. But there's been other film stuff. Worked with this Canadian director, Bruce McDonald, on a couple of movies. One most recently called Trigger. And one before that was called The Tracy Fragments. That was with Ellen Page before she hit the big time in Juno. And Time Traveler's Wife, little known fact. We were the wedding band in that sucker. Yeah.
Watch it on the plane.
Watch it on the plane.